Ascetic life. A path to freedom and joy. He who climbs never stops going from beginning to beginning, through beginnings that have no end. He never stops desiring what he already knows. Saint Gregory of Nyssa. What is an ascetic life? What is the use of an ascetic life? How do we achieve this ascetic life? Questions go on. Many questions will arise when we try to understand the meaning of the ascetic life. We will have more questions than answers. Then, that is the best starting point. Soon, we arrive at the definition of the ascetic life as self-discipline, self-mortification, self-denial, and so on continuously. Mainly, we came across the idea of self-denial. Do we need to renounce everything and go to the forest for the ascetic life? Is it necessary to do so? It may be helpful, but it never gives us the real challenges we face. The challenge that I mentioned is the world. Ascetic life is a self-mastery of our discipline in our day-to-day life. It is a long and exacting work, but it is always possible with our determination. Sometimes in our lives, we are inspired to live the ascetic life, but soon after, we will be tested by our temptations, addictions and attachments, and soon give up. These temptations are called crosses that we need to travel on. These crosses should not be carried by us. Instead, find a way to remove them from us. It is not about avoiding these temptations, but facing them without fear and much courage. Here, we must understand that there is no glory without renunciation and battle in ourselves. Why do we need to live an ascetic life? We love to obey God as command in the case of believers. Non-believers try to live to their moral consciousness, which is not our freedom or doing our own thing, but preferring others over us. My freedom is not what is my right, but how much respect others' freedom over my own. The ascetic life is a mastery of will rather than the act. Here, we affirm ourselves that we do live ascetic life. Freedom makes man responsible for his acts to the extent that they are voluntary processes, but by his free will one shapes one's own life. Therefore, in the act of choosing the ascetic life to live, we need both our freedom and will. The fruits of ascetic a life are peace and joy. The ascetic never worries about his life. He tries to live the life of here and now rather than remaining in the past or focusing on himself in future. The man who worries about things needs time, but one who is in joy never worries about anything. In everything, he finds fulfillment. The joyful person remains in peace because joy and peace are connected. Then, we question, does this kind of person never face a problem? The answer is that he faces problems more than others, but never loses hope, never worries about anything, and never blames his life, but thanks God and everyone for this life, because he has gone one step further than an ordinary person who is attached to this world, where our minds are closed to the limited things than extraordinary hidden gifts. Everything needs to be looked for. This never ends.